Well, Jeff and Deborah, everyone seems to applaud the move from the bishops of Texas. The Survivors Network of those abused by priests say this is a good first step. Meanwhile, tonight, the big message from the Archbishop of San Antonio is honesty and transparency. At the heart of San Antonio, you'll find a devout Catholic.
I believe in faith, hope, and prayer.
Richard Cantú attends Mass twice a week at San Fernando Cathedral.
It's a good move.
Cantú supports the Texas Catholic Diocese decision to soon release the names of clergy from around the state who have sexually abused children.
We have to address this horrible sin of sexual abuse of minors.
Today, San Antonio's Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra emotionally talked about the scandal that has been a long-standing controversy for the church.
I cannot adequately express my sorrow for these survivors of clergy sexual abuse. There are no words that can undo the wrong that was perpetrated upon them.
The Archdiocese of San Antonio has taken it a step further. The formation of a commission is underway. The members will review the way the Archdiocese handles these accusations.
Now we have decided to go back to 1940. Well, implies to look through many, many files.
While Archbishop Gustavo calls for prayer, Cantú says the church should have been open about this a long time ago. He does believe this will regain the faithful's trust. Cantú had this one last message.
Prayer and faith and justice for all.
Now, all the state's 15 dioceses will release and publish their list on January 31st to give time for the victims who have not done so to come forward, as well as to give time for the church to investigate. The Texas Catholic bishops say that releasing the names is an important step in restoring public trust. Live in the city's northwest side, Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.